Alright, good evening again from Canton Hall of Shame. We're going live doing another document dump. I hope and encourage everybody to share this video because this is going to be a nice one tonight. What we're going to be uncovering tonight is the corruption on a notorious caseworker on behalf of Child Protective Services of Stark County, Ohio, and as well as her documented corruption and conspiracy with Canton City Police Department to go after parents using them. We have a story here with a young 6-year-old little boy, and we have documented history now going all the way back to 2019, and we're going to share and expose that tonight. This right here is a police report. Y'all have already been aware. If you're not, this is a 6-year-old little boy who was taken from his father. Actually, he was JR6 and stolen from the school. This is the police report. 6-year-old little boy, several times. April 23rd is when the report was filed. He was molested many times while in the first foster home that they had him placed in. They kept him placed in this foster home for a couple of months after this incident took place. The trauma therapy that was supposed to be given to this young boy was canceled by Emily Smith. The caseworker overseeing her is Bree MacArthur. I want you to remember that name because this is the one that's notorious. Now, they tried to cover this from everybody, and we're going to show documentation here today proving that, no, this is not closed. This is a very much active investigation going on through Detective Shields of the Youngstown Police Department, stating such, and this was dated on July 21st that this was found out, that we had this information on July 15th that the father finally found out about this. Now, there are many chances for Child Protective Services to tell this father about his son. There are home visits several times throughout June by both the guardian ad litem and as well as also by Child Protective Services. Now, there was also a family team meeting on this date here, June 26, 2025, to which we also expressed the concerns about the conditions of the foster care home, and we asked specifically for an unannounced home visit to be completed. And it was only then, after we asked for that, that this child was finally removed from this foster home that he was being molested in all the way back in April. Now, keep in mind, home visits, he was never told about his son being molested. 6/26, he was never told about his son being molested during the team meeting. This was never brought up. We're going to keep going. Document dump, people. We're all about facts and transparency. 7/8 at 9:30 a.m., this father was standing before a courtroom, before a magistrate, before the guardian ad litem, before the caseworkers, Emily Smith and Bree MacArthur, and nobody said a damn word about his son being molested. Now, July 21st, on a Monday, we went all throughout downtown, folks. We had over 1,000 copies of this police report printed out, and we're passing it out to everybody. It got into everybody's hands. And on July 22nd, the very next day, Bree MacArthur makes an incoming phone call to the father, claiming that they were going to set up a team meeting, to which we recorded that phone conversation. We have played it the day prior and let everybody see and hear what words were spoken. And in that process, Bree MacArthur, as you see here in this police incident report number, there you go, that's the incident report number, and we're going to show you also the case number that they opened up by Bree MacArthur and Emily Smith, stating, in quote, person reporting states that the arrested did threaten serious physical harm to the victim. Folks, everybody has heard the recording. If you want, go on to the Canton Hall of Shame platform. You're more than willing to listen to it. Full recording of the Bree MacArthur phone call full recording of every single engagement ever made, and we can't stress this enough to the whole entire public. When you are dealing with agencies such as Child Protective Services, you are to record every single engagement and protect yourself, because if not, you might be subjected to have F5 felonies being pressed on you for aggravated menacing, for asking for a team meeting and telling them that you're holding them accountable and that you're going to get answers, and for being rude, for committing offense, not a criminal offense, never a derogatory threat. Never one time was Bree MacArthur ever threatened, but this is what she is documented in doing and flipping the narrative and what's being and taking place. And then we also have the other report here of Bree MacArthur stating, in quote, right here, the report was filed. Breanna MacArthur filed 7/22/2025, the day after we passed out over 1,000 of those papers. They were stating in the report that Josh said that the father made threats that he hopes to see the police follow him to a dead-end street. Now, the problem that they left out is that they took it off, and this shows that the Kansas City Police Department, everybody's surveillancing our page. And we have the transcript showing this. This is the post of the video that was posted showing them, Kansas City Police Department, following us after city council meetings and such. And we were joking around about how it'll be funny. They don't think we notice that I'm going to get them to go ahead and follow me in a dead-end street. 100. Ha ha ha. Yes, it's comical. And we're going to sit there and catch them following us into a dead-end street, turn around and make them have to do a U-turn and laugh our asses off while we catch them on video doing it. It's a waste of time and taxpayer dollars. But for that, as you see here, this right here is a direct threat of violent physical harm, enough to get you an F5 felony, because Child Protective Services called Canton City Police Department, who is their personal Gestapo, and went to this man's home within 12 minutes after filing a report, 5 units deep, to supposedly arrest him with no warrants, nothing even filed in the courts until the 23rd, the next day, is when it showed in the docket, as you can see right here. Now, me personally, I've never heard of a private citizen going and filing a criminal complaint, right? There's your date, July 23rd. Okay, with the F5. Okay. Never heard of a private citizen a day in my life calling 911, making a complaint for abuses or a threat, and then right after that complaint's made, before any investigation's done, folks, before the other party side is taken, before they even do any type of thing, no, they're just going to go out the ground basis of an already documented liar and conspire to retaliate against parents that speak out against their agency. Now, we don't even just have her documented now in this one-time incident. We have her documented prior all the way to 2019, and we're going to show you a truthful story. We have paperwork proving everything claimed. This right here is an issue back in 2019. Complaint works for CPS. Enter to this location. Implement a safety plan for 3 children in the home. Meeting with Justin Nicely. Complaint has issue with him at last week. Got very irate, and she had to leave. No, I got irate because they showed up to my home. They wouldn't help us with the squatter situation to where we can move into our new home. They forced me to go back to Jackson Sherry, to which they conspired to have me evicted for $44 in that process. And then they also came and tried to sit there and interrogate me about supposedly abusing the squatters' kids in the house for turning off all the utilities that were in my name, since we couldn't even move into our new home that we had already paid for, that they did not help with. So what do? They call up Kansas City Police Department on July 29, 2019 here, stating that He really hates police. Unknown if weapons are in the home. Supposedly has aggravated trespass, but yet, and a B&E, but yet I've never been convicted of a B&E a day in my life. And then it says here that they're going to rule JR6 en route with CPS with my children, because they're claiming that I'm under the influence of methamphetamine, according to them. Now, here you see it. This is the comprehensive assessment planning model safety plan for the children that they went to try to have me sign, that I absolutely refused to with my children. And what name do you see there, ladies and gentlemen, as the supervisor overseeing the caseworker on this, who likes to retaliate on those that tell them to go fuck themselves, basically. Pardon my language, but that's exactly what I did, and I told them never to come back to my house again. They showed up 3 days later with 4 Kansas City Police Department officers, Bree MacArthur, the caseworker, Katie Pavick, and they went inside my home. They were going through my closets, they were going through my cupboards, my drawers, having me pull up my kids' shirts and showing that they didn't have marks and bruises. And after over an hour of me fighting with them, telling them I'm not fucking agreeing to a safety protection plan, y'all aren't touching my children, they snatched my kids out of my arms, ripped them away. And this is the police report, folks. Officers were dispatched to my address at Jackson Sheridan at 1124 13th Street Southwest to assist CPS with removing children from a residence. Officers removed the kids from an uncooperative Justin Nicely. He had tested positive for methamphetamine in a drug screening as they were sent to stay in a home in North Canton. Now, I begged repeatedly for the copy of this drug test, supposedly. I've never seen it. I begged and pleaded for them to give me a drug test in that moment that would show an immediate result, because I've never touched that shit a day in my life. I've been more than open about the only thing I've done is marijuana. And I fought like hell for issue 2 to get passed, so we won't have to fight anymore and have to argue over a damn card, and that being our choice for our medical care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this date was July 29, 2019, that they're claiming I was under the influence of methamphetamine, which is why I was raped, that they're in my house with no warrants and snatching my children up as my reaction to it. Here's your drug test, ladies and gentlemen, from July 29th, 2019. Amphetamine. What does that say, ladies and gentlemen? So why the hell did Canton City Police Department, conspiring with Bree MacArthur on July 29th, come to my home and snatch my kids, who's already openly admitted in the call log to the dispatch to them, end quote, complainant had an issue with us last week, got very irate, and she had to leave. Made sure to tell them that I really hate the police. Well, here's a newsflash, everyone. I don't hate the police. I hate thug police. I have a high respect for good law enforcement. And there's a drastic difference between the two. Now it gets worse. When they kidnapped my children on July 29, 2019, claiming I'm under the influence of methamphetamine, here's your drug test from that day. Again, to shut off all the fucking trolls, I'm cutting everything out and I'm killing everybody's bullshit assumptions about what took place. Why did they take my children when there was no methamphetamine in my system on July 29, 2019? It gets deeper, folks. My children, for some reason, in the care and custody of Stark County Child Protective Services, filed August 21st, 2019. I want y'all to pay special attention to that date. We're taken to New York, Cheektowaga, whatever the hell that is, for the weekend. Why are they trafficking these kids out of state to New York? Oh, it's only one trip, everybody. It's only one trip. Nothing to be worried about. Nothing to be concerned. Okay, if it's a duck, I say it quacks. These, ladies and gentlemen, is a file folder that contains something that supposedly I'm not allowed to have. I'm not allowed to have this. These are called the activity logs from Child Protective Services. From the very first time of their involvement, every single word said, every single log made by Child Protective Services, folks. Everything. Every single date, every single occurrence, who was involved, what was said, who was there, what date, what occurred. Now, they had custody of my children all the way up until October 17th. Remember, they trafficked these kids. My children, first trip, August 21st, 2019 is when the judge signed off on it. I want to show everybody conveniently when the activity logs in. Page 74 of the activity logs, ending on August 20th, 2019, the day before the trips to New York start. Now everybody's tripping and everybody's sitting there running, wanting to be, having their comments. Here you go, trolls. Well, it's only one trip to New York. Okay, well then, someone explain why the hell my kids, 2 weeks later, are now taking to Cicero, New York, out of state. Oh, maybe it's just, they got some family up there. Okay, we'll go with that, right? All right. And someone explained to me why in the hell my kids were then trafficked to Buffalo, New York. Anybody want to talk about this shit? And how Child Protective Services at the first hearing, and the likes of Bree MacArthur, swept all this shit under the rug about the abuses that took place? The emergency placement to the second foster home after this trip here, on the third trip, and the abuses that they still to this day won't come to the table about. And it's all by the exact same caseworker, folks. Bree MacArthur, the same one, the same supervisor that if you go against her, you tell her to kick rocks, she uses Canton City Police Department in retaliation. Very well documented that this agent here uses the Canton City Police Department as her personal Gestapo. This is the incident call log number. If everybody would like to get it, here you go. Sorry about that, guys. Again, we offer full transparency. We need help in discussing the issue as far as how and why they let an 6-year-old little boy, Tyreek, not only get sexually molested multiple times, but why Bree MacArthur and caseworkers, Emily Smith, both, the day after his father spoke out, shared the word with everybody, very next day has charges pressed on him for F5 felony, aggravated menacing, claiming, in quote, that he has made extreme direct threats of physical violence against these caseworkers. And this is Stark County, Ohio, so everybody can read it. Person reporting states that the arrested, they really were gung-ho to think that they were going to take him into custody right then and there, did threaten physical, serious harm to the victim. Folks, the recording's out there of the phone call with Bree MacArthur and the caseworkers. The phone call was an incoming phone call, letting everybody know. Not him calling them. He left a message. They called him back. And according to them, he was threatening them. And this is how far they reach. This is the report number here. We're going to share it with everybody. Okay, we ask everyone, go ahead. Ask for this information yourself. Read it. Look into it. Notice how they're blanking out and blanking out. Now, here's a funny thing, guys. This is how ass-bent, hell-bent they are trying to come after people that speak out, and this includes me especially. Now, I go out of my way to make sure to not encourage any type of everybody to sit there and not commit any type of violence. Violence is only necessary in defense of yourself and your family and your life. And an absolute necessary need be case. And if other than that, there's ways that we can get things done that doesn't resort to shit like that. And I have not only not encouraged it, I have condemned it by every means necessary to make sure people understand that's not the route that we're going. I don't enjoy people sitting there talking about threatening people and things like that. I don't take highly to it, and I don't encourage it in any way, and I'm pretty adamant on it to make sure that we are very wise in our choice of words. But it states here, it says that it's aggravating, menacing, disorderly conduct that is the past. Blank is threatening CPS caseworkers. Such and such has blank. Here's the passage. Stated, police think we don't notice. I am going to get them to follow me into a dead-end street. And again, if that's enough for an F5 felony, folks, about a post of Kansas City Police Department in a video following us, okay, to which in turn the comments right here, folks, they think we don't notice. I'm going to get them to follow me. I'm sorry, it got cut off there, but that's all it says, those two words. Follow me down a dead-end street. Now, there is no threat or anything menacing in that. No, we know they are surveillancing our page. Oh, good job. I'll get you more, baby. Said it right there. Sorry about that, guys. We know they're surveillancing our page. We have over 53 documented pages of transcripts of their internal emails stating such. We have their Special Investigations Unit and SWAT and the captains of such conspiring to set up cameras to oversee what we're doing and surveillance the public. We know that they follow us and have unmarked sitting outside our places and watch what we're doing and following our Facebook pages and everything else. What we don't understand is, why in the hell are you all wasting so much tax-paying dollars trying to sit there and silence people who are talking about child trafficking, the gross sexual imposition of children and them trying to sweep it under the rug, and the retaliatory conduct of your department that they use that you all deny any involvement with whatsoever? Someone explain this to me on why we're spending valuable resources that could be better invested in actually, especially in the city of Canton. Like, I mean, they sure as hell probably don't have anything better to do with all the unsolved murders and crimes and violent crime that we have here, ranked number 2 in the state. And also, you know, per cap in the nation, we're ranked pretty high. This story needs to get out there, folks. We need everybody to know there's a 6-year-old little boy that is being molested in the system, and it was hidden from everybody, and a father's fight like hell to try to bring him home, and CPS's involvement and threats, continuous threat after threat after threat to try to silence him in regards to such. Here's from Guardian ad litem, Amanda Croca stating, in quote, I know we spoke in my last visit to your home, to which she said that he couldn't record her, which is bullshit. But I wanted to reiterate that you are not to share my report with anyone else, that it is only be viewed by parties to the case and their attorneys. If you share my report, I will have to file another notice with the court, meaning she was going to file a notice of contempt to have this man thrown in jail for 30 days if he were to tell anybody about this. Now, screenshot this report, folks. Here's the incident number. Share it with everyone you know. This word needs to get out. They hid this from the courts. They hid it at the team meeting. They hid it from the father. He didn't find out until almost 3 months after his son was abused. And in the process of the past history of a caseworker that we have documented all the way since 2019 by the name of Bree MacArthur, who is continuously and repeatedly, all the way back since 2019, we have her documented, threatening people and using Canton City Police Department to retaliate against her if she were to sit there, if you speak out against her. This woman is a danger. If you have her as a supervisor, you need to be forewarned of her retaliatory conduct. she will flip the narrative. We tell everybody that is involved with this agency that unfortunately, if you do have an active case plan, record everything. You record every phone call. You record every engagement. You record every single encounter, every single team meeting, every single visit. Invest in a digital recorder. It is probably one of the most crucial and life-saving investments you can have. $40, very well spent, memory card included. It can save you, it can save your kids, it can save your life, because I can guarantee you right now, Josh Brown is not going to go down for no damn aggravating menacing with the recording that we have from the dates of July 22nd. As I played that recording for the public, it's out there, shared. We ask everybody else to share it. As not one time was there ever a direct threat of violence to anybody in any way, shape, and form. There was a hell of a lot of offense. Yeah, he was rude. And I'm sorry, as a parent, anyone out there, how rude would you be if you found out your child was molested and they hid it from you? Okay? This is what they do. So here's your case number. This is another life that they're trying to ruin. Another little boy that they're trying to keep in the system for their trafficking for profit. We need y'all to share this story with everybody. Free Tyreek and free Josh of this hellhole system.